Folks, welcome to the Jake Feinberg Show. Here with the cat who absolutely knocked my socks off at Slow Body Brew a couple weeks ago with the Desert Music Project. Daniel Woodruff, welcome to the Jake Feinberg Show.
Dude, appreciate being here. Yeah.
With this particular project, it's very unique in the sense that it's kind of a vibe. It's about vibe.
Yeah, cinematic.
Can you talk a little bit about what you're, I don't want to say striving for, but what the intention is for this group?
So I think it started kind of super based in Tucson, right? And thinking about the deserty sounds. And then it was also very financially oriented, where it's like, what do the people want out here? You know what I mean? We got to get the desert sound out. We got to be a little bit unoffensive, but also interesting enough to catch the interest. So it started out with Jake having written the songs, and then I came through underneath adding the bass lines, and then we got Zach on more recently with the drums, right?
I want to be clear, break down the desert sound for cats that live outside of Pueblo.
That's interesting. I guess I haven't thought about
because you know what? Like, there's a desert rock town, but you're not playing desert rock. You're playing instrumental groove music.
So what do I think is the desert sound?
So what is, yeah.
I guess it's somewhat rooted in kind of like a country thing, but without the deep swing to it so hard. It's kind of more ambient.
More funk-based, maybe?
Yeah, more funk-based for sure. But then there's also this ambient element that I think is kind of important to it that has to do with the kind of like the big landscapes, right? So we'll do these like slow intros with the harmonics kind of ringing out. Right, and it's very rooted in that nature. But then I do think the groove is much more funky than it is like desert rock, right?
Dude, you went into some reggae groove that fucking healed me for weeks.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
All
That's
right?
Crazy, yeah.
Can you talk about, like, ultimately, in your mind, to me, in music, it's about embellishment and note placement. And as a bass player, I kind of wanted you to talk about how you honed your skills to be able to embellish and not be overly, not too much language. Where the placement is, break the brain wide open.
That's crazy, yeah. So I guess I'm
riff any way you want on it.
Yeah, so I'm a jazz piano player. So bass is my second instrument. So I'm thinking about these harmonies, and so I'll hear like a chord Jake does, for example, and maybe he'll do it for 8 bars, and I'll take the first 4 and be like, I'm gonna do this sort of bass underneath that, and then the second 4, and divide it into different sections.
Subdivision, dude.
Subdivision.
There you go,
ways,
bro.
Providing a greater harmonic structure, right? And then the other thing is, because we're kind of repetitive with the grooves, I can provide these inner melodies on the bass that I think is kind of unique, maybe. Where usually the guitar would be. Where do you think you
learned? Maybe it was natural, but in terms of the melodies within, was there a band that before this where you learned to be comfortable being insecure, basically learning to be comfortable being uncomfortable?
Like I played in a band I played.
Yeah, well, before this, I mean, clearly this isn't the maiden voyage for Woodruff. I mean, again, you're a piano player, but like to me, it's all like Chick Corea, man. You listen to fusion stuff with Jeremy Steig, like, or whatever it is. It's all about where he's putting a chord on everything.
Yeah.
It's not about the chops. It's not about the facility. It's about how do you get from that to the primordial gut. And I want you to talk about how you've accessed that, how you've learned to get out of your own way.
I think that's what I'm kind of doing right now. It maybe makes it easier with Jake as the vehicle for that, because I can almost like contract that out. I'd be like, he's doing this, so what do I?
You're outsourcing it to him.
Yes, and then I can become an invisible guy where I'm the support underneath that, and then that's where my expression comes through. Where on piano, it's much more like I'm the thing, so I have to figure out what
people expect you to stretch.
Yes.
Solo, right?
Yes.
But with the bass, though, there's a way to. I just want you to talk about your concept, especially as a bass player, because I think this is where this band is headed. More than ambient, it is.
That's interesting.
It is the idea of that any note can be the one, the downbeat. And what I mean by that is collectively losing the one and then coming back in all together.
Yeah.
And that takes a melodic bass player. And to me, that takes a fearlessness. And I want you to talk about that fearlessness. Just in music in general, like the younger cats who are used to playing a Formula Trip set every night, keeping it safe, getting the applause lines whether people like it or not, because of the fucking seals that we've been trained into. I'm just curious about your idea that I want your concept of any note can be the one.
That's interesting, dude. I guess I haven't.
It's a sick line. I mean, many of the elders
it is
love
sick.
it.
Yeah.
It's the sickest line because to me it's the most cathartic part of music.
Well, because you're almost if you don't play the one, you just go right up next. It's like you're creating the tension and the release. Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah. And so I mean, I hadn't really thought of it as a goal. I kind of thought of it like I was building the harmonic groundwork for the band, right? And then within that, I had a goal in mind. So I'm like, when I'm doing the wrong notes, maybe I'm heading towards here, right? Or I'm hearing the wrong note over there, and I'm going to do something to fix it on my end, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of like, I guess the presence, because I'm so in it, like hearing it, responding, hearing it, responding. If I can do that, I don't have to worry. You know what I mean? But if I'm thinking like, what chord did he play? Then I might be like, oh man, what's the 4 of that? I don't know. That was
Before I let you go, I want to talk to you about why you've chosen this insecure path of being a musician. Look at the camera too.
Oh yeah.
Why? I mean, this is I don't want to say thankless. That's the wrong word. But it's hard to sing for your supper as a bandstand musician.
Yeah.
You know, and I love the ground. I love the farm system here. Oh my God.
Shouts
this cat, all right. You know, and it's like, to me, do you know how to do anything else in life? Or is this the only thing that
I think
feeds
that
you?
I guess it was when I realized I was trying to solve real life problems with chords. I was like, oh man, I'm having a fight. What chord do I pick to fix the, like, you know, or I'm going through something happy or something sad. And I'm like, what chords do that? Right? Like I was just trying to write a song. I was thinking about my uncle and I'm like, what chords is my uncle? And then I guess at that point I was like, okay, I can't be in an office.
You're certainly not going to be a shrink either.
Yeah.
But the point is you can really work out your emotions psychically through the chords you play.
When I think that's how I started, like the competitive scene really sussed me out. That's also what's liberating about the bass versus the piano. But
Right. Well, no, explain that. The sussing out. What do you mean by that? I mean, like you don't get off on that shit. On the competition.
No. Like I think
it's about the conversation.
Like I've heard from some people that is what gets them excited to go out, like the competition.
Because they should be playing sports, dude.
Yeah, that's what it is, right? Where for me,
because music is about ultimately listening in the conversation.
Yes, like hanging out with people,
having a good time mostly.
Hopefully,
yeah.
You know? Well, that's where the sussing out kind of like. So if I play jazz piano, I have to do X amount of hip things to be a jazz player, right? If I were to just do simple chords,
bullshit. Basie would say just be yourself, play the blues, and burn.
Yes.
You know, but there's this expectation involved with all the cats that are coming out of the academy.
Yeah, and when it's institutionalized, there's grants, there's money.
You can't codify this shit. No. And that's what I like about the project, man. The DMP, dude. DMP. It's like, the DMP is like, I mean, you guys are scholars in some ways, but you're also street scholars.
It's working class, like more than academic. I think
so
about that.
Dude, rips in the jeans, dude.
Dude, that's interesting. And I guess I feel that because I'm trying to add these harmonies that I learned by studying with like academics or whatever.
So you went to the U of A?
No, I went to a tiny school called Reed College. And I kind of studied, I studied music history more. It was like an essay degree.
What, like musicology?
Yeah, like I studied like Mulgrew Miller's soloing and like how.
Oh, I see.
You know, how did he solo?
But see, you can transcribe all that shit, and it will never feel the same.
Well, and then it kind
ultimately Woodruff has to just play himself.
And that's the goal now, chilling out, getting the nervous system level, and then I'm listening to the greats like you interview, dude. And what do they say? You got to meditate. You got to be there. Like it becomes about interpersonal. You know, what you like. I'm already good enough, right? I don't need to do this more. Maybe, right? I don't know. Maybe.
You know, and actually you play beyond what you know. That's what I kind of like about you on the bass, dude.
Dude, appreciate it.
But one thing before we wrap. I mean, what is your definition of success in life? Because like Tucson, ultimately, no matter what, like we're seeing top shelf shit tonight, and cats don't really get it. And so what I'm saying is, Tucson, there's a ceiling.
Yeah.
So are you like? I've been here 20-something years. I found my voice here. I'm from New York. I'll never move back.
Sick,
Found my own shit here. I do my own thing. But when you hit that ceiling, I mean, do you think about moving on to somewhere else, or are you just happy being in the now?
I thought about it recently, so I'm in the middle. I don't have an answer, you know, but I guess the closest I have is
Where
I thought
about. Where are you at right
now?
We're in this moment.
So there's this thing I heard recently, like the medium is the message, and I'm like maybe.
Dude, that's Marshall McLuhan, dude.
Yes, what's up?
Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Well, and so then I'm like maybe the concerts are not the medium. Like I think I can play music that moves people, but then it almost is more of like a religious context, and you kind of see that. And these bars, like alcohol doesn't do it, you know, people aren't in a state, they're coming out to relax after work and stuff, right? And I'm like, what if I want to like make you think, I don't know. Like when I hear the acts that make me want to continue doing it, it's this bigger thing, you know?
Well, I'm just going to tell you right now, sitting here right now, I'm humbled by you, man, and don't ever stop, man. Regardless if you know that this is your purpose in life and you follow that, you stay on that path no matter what.
Dude, appreciate you.
Daniel
That's hella
Woodruff,
sweet.
what an honor. Thanks for being part of the program.
Dude, thanks for talking to me.
It's the Jake Feinberg Show. See you later.